It started with a silence that felt heavier than noise. The girls' locker room was supposed to be a safe space, a private place where laughter and whispered secrets echoed between the rows of lockers. But that day, the door creaked open, and 3 boys, known troublemakers in the school, slipped inside with mocking grins. Their footsteps echoed as if they owned the place, and their cruel laughter bounced off the walls. Some girls screamed, some froze in shock, and others hurried to cover themselves. It was a complete violation of trust and safety. And standing at the center of it all was Mia, the quiet, sharp-eyed girl no one ever paid much attention to. Mia wasn't the kind to scream or panic. She wasn't even the kind to run. Instead, she locked eyes with the bullies, memorizing the way they smirked and shoved their phones into the air, pretending to film. She clenched her fists, not from fear, but from fury. While everyone else focused on escaping embarrassment, Mia was already thinking ahead. Revenge wouldn't be loud. It wouldn't be impulsive. It would be precise, calculated, and unforgettable. For years, Mia had been underestimated. Teachers called her the quiet one. Classmates barely remembered her name. But behind that silence was a girl who read people better than books, who planned everything like chess moves, and who carried a quiet strength that no bully could ever break. That day in the locker room, she made a decision. She would end this, not just for herself, but for every girl who had been humiliated or silenced by them. The days after the incident were filled with whispers. The boys bragged in the cafeteria about teaching the girls a lesson. They joked in the hallways, acting untouchable. The school administration, as usual, was slow and hesitant to act. Teachers looked the other way, muttering about not ruining young men's futures. That's when Mia realized she couldn't rely on anyone else to fix this. If justice was going to happen, she would make it happen herself. Her first step was observation. She watched the bullies closely, when they arrived at school, who they hung out with, which teachers favored them, and even which rules they often broke without consequence. Mia wrote everything down in a small notebook she kept hidden in her backpack. She noticed how they always skipped certain classes, how they bullied not just girls but also smaller boys, and how they left trails of chaos that no one bothered to connect. Then came the planning. Mia was tech-savvy, something no one really knew about her. Late at night, she used her laptop to research digital footprints and school surveillance systems. She discovered that while the bullies thought they were clever, they often posted their pranks and jokes online under fake accounts. With careful digging, Mia traced those accounts back to their phones. Every cruel act they laughed about online became evidence. But evidence alone wasn't enough, she needed the truth to explode in FR. The sound of laughter echoed through the locker room, but it wasn't the kind that made you smile. It was mocking, sharp, and cruel. The door had burst open without warning, and 3 boys swaggered in, their sneakers squeaking against the tiles as if they owned the place. Gasps and screams filled the air as girls scrambled for towels and clothes, their privacy ripped away in an instant. For the girls, it was humiliation. For the boys, it was entertainment. They grinned, tossing out taunts, pretending to film with their phones. They thought it was funny, just another prank to brag about later. But in the middle of that chaos stood Mia. She wasn't laughing. She wasn't crying. She was watching. Silent, sharp, and calculating. Mia had always been the kind of girl people overlooked. She kept her head down, focused on her books, and rarely spoke unless she had to. Teachers described her as polite, quiet, maybe a little shy. Classmates often forgot she was even there. But what no one realized was that behind her silence, Mia's mind was always moving, always calculating. That day in the locker room, while everyone else panicked, Mia made herself a promise: this ends here. The next few days were some of the hardest. The boys strutted through the hallways as if they were heroes, retelling the incident with exaggerated jokes. You should have seen their faces. One of them laughed loudly in the cafeteria. Their friends roared with laughter, slapping their backs. Even some teachers, though clearly disturbed, stayed silent. We can't jump to conclusions without evidence, the principal said when a few girls complained. It was the same old story, bullies protected by indifference. But Mia refused to let it slide. She started small, collecting information. She noticed how the boys skipped classes, how they snuck into the teacher's lounge to steal snacks, and how they mocked smaller kids when no adults were around. She scribbled everything into her notebook. Dates, times, names. Evidence wasn't enough, though. She needed impact. She needed the truth to be undeniable. That's when Mia turned to her secret strength, technology. Most people didn't know that while she was quiet at school, she spent hours at home exploring coding and digital systems. She wasn't just good at it, she was brilliant. Late at night, when her parents thought she was asleep, Mia dug into the school's security network. She found camera footage the administration had ignored, including a blurry clip of the boys slipping into the girls' locker room. It was enough to prove they were there. But Mia wanted more. She tracked down their social media, uncovering hidden accounts where they bragged about their pranks. There were videos of them shoving a freshman into a trash can, clips of them stealing food from the cafeteria, even posts where they mocked teachers. Piece by piece, Mia built a case so strong it couldn't be denied. Still, she knew simply handing it over to the school wouldn't change any.